1.
Thanks for joining us again at PCTV. Tonight you'll be joined by me and Ross, who are going to do a quick explanation from ourselves and from Graham Kirby and Natasha Kirby about the management and preparation of calves in general, but aiming towards show cattle. The reason why this was inspired, we were talking about the last sale and previous sales and the sale going forward, and we were talking about pedigrees, amazing pedigrees, and thinking, you know, it doesn't matter how good them pedigrees are, if you haven't got the right management in place, them animals cannot reach their full potential. So I was told by someone once that always ask some advice of someone who's doing it, and I think that's a great piece of advice. Go to someone who's actually out there doing it today. And what Graham Kirby and Natasha Kirby are achieving in the show ring, especially with the young stock, is absolutely unbelievable at the moment. They had a first and a second at last year's National Calf Show, plus many other winners. They had champion and reserve at the Lancashire qualifier. So we thought they were the best people to go and find out this advice. So earlier on this evening, me and Ross travelled up to Graham's place, and we caught up with them, had a great chat. So I hope you enjoy this video. Before I pass you on to Ross, please like and share what we're doing. Go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, click the bell in the top right corner of the YouTube channel, subscribe. We really appreciate what you're doing for us, and hopefully you're enjoying what we're doing for you. So from now on, I'll pass you on to Graham and Ross.
Hi guys, we've arrived at Absolute headquarters, the home of Graham Kirby and his daughter Natasha and their family, and like we always say, Graham, this is where the magic happens. I think that's fair to say.
That's right.
Absolute HQ. But the reason that for this episode tonight is we often get asked when we attend various shows and sales and different events, when we're looking after cattle and bringing cattle out, what is it that you guys do that's different from anyone else? Well, actually, what we do at the show, what we do at the sale, what we do on the day is probably not quite as important as what we're going to talk to Graham about tonight. The hard work actually starts a long time before the show. It starts at home here for Graham and Tash. It starts sort of the weeks and months and even sort of the year leading up to especially the bigger shows. And we thought we'd catch up with Graham tonight and just speak to him about what it is that they do here in terms of protocols, in terms of feeding, in terms of getting things ready. So we want to start basically at day one, because I think that's fair to say that's where you would start, Graham, isn't it? So we're in front of a pretty fresh calf. If you want to tell us a little bit about the calf, Graham.
So this will be 10 days, a fortnight old. It's a King Doc from Absolute Dorman Ring-a-Ding-Ding. Okay. Goes back to the Kingsway Sanchez family. We have protocols at our place. We're a big believer in, from day one, colostrum's a thing. Regardless of what time of day they're born, within half an hour of them being born, calf's taken off the mother's brought in, we milk the mother, and then we bag the calf. I like bagging calves, you know they've had it, 3 litres straight into it, and in the first 24 hours of every calf's life here, they get 4 3-litre bags of milk. So
you would bag the first 4 feeds?
Yes, okay. and so in the first 24 hours, they've 12 litres of colostrum. Right. and then we're away with the bucket then. And some people say, well, you can't get them onto the bucket after that. We've never really come across that problem. Yeah. They're off with the bucket, and I think we get thrifty calves from day one, and that's it. They're off and running, and that's a good start.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of colostrum as well, obviously you give them the fresh colostrum that you take from the cow on day one. Yep. You'll probably keep feeding that colostrum as the cow.
Yeah, well, it gets its mother's milk then, so we're not on powdered milk. Mm-hmm. You know, we're milking 1s and 2s, and it'll get its mother's milk until the recipient's sold, or so and we do little bits of things like you know, you keep them well bedded when they start getting to the stage where they're taking some coarse calf ration, fresh feed in the morning, anything that's left at night given to some bulling heifers, and fresh feed all the time. As they start to take a little bit more, we start sprinkling a little bit of lucerne into the feed.
Chopped lucerne?
Yeah, we buy lucerne in. I think that's a great feed. It's high protein, and it develops the frame, and stress-free, trouble-free. And then as they progress with the horned in here, Metacam when we deorn them, and then moved into.
And at this stage, there'll be an individual pens.
Yes.
So you can keep an eye
and,
on.
and you'll see this is in a double pen.
Yeah.
We don't carve a whole packet of stuff here, so we can afford to give them a little bit more room and any little bit. I think it comes down to fine margins at the end of the day. So little bits of attention to detail. We like to focus on that and do as much as we can for them, really.
Yeah. And what sort of age are they when you start introducing coarse calf mix?
This is taking it now.
Right. Okay.
And it's about 10 days old.
Okay. So as early as possible, get them in.
Just as soon as we can. Fresh water twice a day after the milk.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to.
And I suppose even little things like making sure they're fed at the same time of day. And making sure that it's a clean bucket that you give the milk in. And
that's right.
Little things like you say, it's those marginal gains, isn't it?
That
make all the difference.
We think so. We think so. So whatever you do in life, a good start's.
You did mention that you do add a little bit of lucerne. Do you have any idea of what kind of protein or makeup of?
I'm not sure. It's the dengue stuff we buy.
Okay.
And we'll sprinkle a little bit into the. I think you can buy a coarse calf ration with lucerne added.
Yeah.
So we just have a regular coarse calf ration from a local supplier. Yeah. We sprinkle a bit in, and it's taking a bit more. Just prior to it coming out of here, there'll be a half bucket of nuts and the coarse calf mixed into it, and then they're out of here and into a bigger pen, and they continue on that right through to probably being 12 months of age.
Right. Okay. So you've just mentioned sort of the next step of the process, and that's probably what we'll do now. Obviously, calves born gets its colostrum feed. Attention to detail, you've said, is paramount. Clean bedded strawing, and you can see this calf's really content. So from here then, after it's, how old would you keep it into this pen? What's the next stage from here?
We try and wean them somewhere between 8 and 10 weeks.
Okay.
When they're taking enough concentrates, we'll go from 3.5 to 4 litres of milk either feed.
Okay.
And we'll maybe wean that down, take it down until we're on once a day, and it's maybe only getting 2 litres with one feed per day, but taking quite a lot of nuts, quite a lot of corn, and then we'll take the milk off it, and it'll continue just on water and nuts in here for maybe a week, 10 days, and then it's into the pen, and it's weaned and it's off to the next phase.
Ideal. And obviously, with the way things are set up here, obviously you're not milking 300 cows here. This is a fairly specialist kind of barn. You're not going to have massive groups of calves. Do you group calves if you have some of the same age?
If we get chance, we do.
Yep.
But like you say, this is almost like a hobby that's got out of control for me. So it's no, it's just what we have at the time, and we're like you say, we're not milking 300, so we can afford to. It goes into its pen and onto the next phase.
Right. So next step for us then is to go and see the next group.
Probably around the corner and see what we do there.
Yeah, we'll go around and see what happens next.
Okay.
Right, so calves being weaned. It's eating sufficient grain. It's eating sufficient lucerne mix. It's drinking water. You dehorn them at that stage over there?
We don't like to dehorn them and move them at the same time. So we'll dehorn them over there. Give them a shot of Metacam. Watch them for a few days. Make sure they're okay. And then take them out of there, and
then the weaned calves come into this pen.
Yes.
And just quickly, before we go any further, just sort of tell us what. So they go from their coarse calf mix plus lucerne in the
as they get to sort of 6, 7, 8 weeks, we'll phase the coarse calf ration out, and they go on to a 19% nut.
Okay.
And by the time they get to this stage, they're finished on the coarse calf ration. So they'll come into these pens here. They had ad-lib barley straw. They get 4 kilo per head per day of the 19% nut. And we mix lucerne in with that, and they're fed twice a day.
I was going to say that's in 2 feeds, so morning and evening. 2 kilos each end of the day.
And at this stage, we're not looking for sharp shoulders or anything super fancy. We just want to grow them. And grow as strong as we can.
I think you made the point, attention to detail and get the calf eating and getting it going over here. Still the same here. You're not starting to pick out show calves. You're not starting to feed for a particular program.
I don't know. Little bits of things like there's barley straw in that rack every morning, and whatever's left next morning is taken out the rack, used for bedding. Fresh barley straw put in there. I remember going to, I think it was Petit Clerc in Canada years back, and I think he fed his cattle 6 times a day. And new feed 6 times a day. Their intakes were massive. They grew bigger. They were, So you know, it's picked up from there really.
Little, like you say again, attention to detail. And at this stage, you're just looking for these calves to grow and grow and grow.
And just develop on. Yeah. And it's probably not till they're 4, 5, 6 months of age that you can see, right, well, this is a plain calf or this is a real fancy calf, and then it's at that stage then you can think, right, well, with a show coming up, so get them clipped. You can gauge whether they're over conditioned, under conditioned, and once you have them clipped off, you can see that and feed them accordingly from there. And it's quite often at that stage where we'll split them up and we'll say, right, well, there's 2 here that want pushing on, so they're in that end pen. There's 2 here that are probably perfect, so we'll just have them in here, and they'll just tick along on a maybe less concentrates, but a nice diet, and keep them in the right condition really.
And just in terms of forage, there's a rack here with barley straw. I take it there's barley straw in here as well. And that's all they get. They don't get any silage. They don't get anything else like
No.
So they get their nutrition from, like you say, the corn that they get.
Yeah, and I think this helps like develop rumen, and it helps them with fill, and we found barley straw works real well for us. Certainly when you're taking calves to a show, you can have them on barley straw at home and they're all ready for the show, and you want that extra fill at a show. Well, if you like them barley straw to a cheap burger, and you like them the nice hair to T-bone steak, so 24 hours before you take them in the ring, if you're offering them hair, they'll just fill up on it incredibly, and you get a real fill on them then.
And you don't have to do anything extra special. Like
no, not really.
The hard work's done. It's just that little.
A little bit, and maybe at times we get them on twice a day watering.
Okay.
That helps.
But just at this stage, it's probably worth pointing out that access to clean fresh water
all the time. Check water bowl every day.
And the water bowl has to be clean.
And just attention to detail.
I know a lot of people say we joke about it, but really you should be able to drink the water yourself. I mean, it's only makes sense really that the water's clean, that they're going to drink more of it.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe just stop.
Okay, Ross. So now we progress to the next pen. These
calves are a little bit older now.
These are a little bit older, and it's maybe at this stage where we're starting to think that they're developing a little bit, and this is where you maybe start to earmark an odd one for a show.
Right.
We're thinking the black calf on the right is maybe something we could get out this year. It's a cycle Dorman Jacoby from Carillon in Canada at Adam Hodgins, an 86 2-year-old Atwood, and then the second dam is Butts Butler Gold Barbary. But the next phase with this calf will probably be to clip it, and then we can gauge its body condition. And then feed it accordingly. If it wants pushing on, we'll up the ration. If it wants just easing back, we'll take a little bit off it. Work on the alter training. And if we think it's going to be something that we could ultimately show, we'll work away like that and get it onto the show program.
So just in terms of basics, you're still on straw.
Still on barley straw. Still on that 19% nut, and a bit of lucerne with that.
And this is where you assess. So you probably will rip the hair off this calf.
And it's at this stage where we'll get them fastened up on halters and get them alter trained and get them used to that sort of side of things. Get the hair off it. Promotes a bit of new hair growth. If you want to take it to the next level, you could rinse them off on a daily basis, and I think that promotes hair growth, and I think that helps. Well, it's how much do you want to do? It's labour intensive, I suppose. That
and going back to the very start, like we did at the beginning, it is those little things, that attention to detail,
just little bits,
the little marginal gains, and that's when you do get to we're 3 months out from the qualifier now. The qualifier obviously leads to the All Britain, and when you're at the All Britain, it's those little tiny marginal gains that make the difference between thirds and seconds and class winners, isn't it? So
that's right. It's it can be a very small amount that's the difference between fourth in the class or top of the class.
Because at that level, they're all good calves, really.
Yes, that's right.
And it's just those little things that give you that edge.
Yeah, that's right. So that's how we'd manage this particular batch. And if they're not, if we don't think they're going to be show calves, they'll just tick along on the same diet and keep growing them through, and we'll not maybe just be as fussy about monitoring the condition on them. But we'll probably still clip them and keep them growing. And
Yeah, they still get looked after.
Yeah, ultimately work away with them, and probably the next step after this, after the show age, is whether you're going to decide to flush them or what you're going to do, and that's maybe the next pen along in the next phase.
Yeah. So if we want to just take a wander along to this pen.
Yep.
Obviously we've got a heifer here that's a little bit older now. She's what, a year old?
She's born early June.
Right. Okay. So she's just turned a year.
Yeah. So this is OCD first class Callan.
Right.
Mother's a high octane Brennan Farms in Canada, and it's a full sister to Brennan Denver.
Oh, okay. Right.
So this is a heifer that we earmarked to flush.
Yeah.
And so that then dictates that her diet changes. Anything we flush here, we give them 2 Cozy Cure boluses, maybe 3 or 4 months before we flush them.
Okay.
I quite like the Agriloid product, Cow Care. We give them a couple of drenches of that, a couple of 150ml drenches of that.
Okay.
And at this point we would up the energy.
Right.
So we get them on a little bit of sugar beet.
Yeah.
Keep them on the straw. Maybe ease back with the Lucerne, which is a protein based.
Yeah.
And you can see if you were thinking of taking this to the show, it's probably really too conditioned.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more.
We're wanting eggs out of it at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you keep an eye on the protein, you up the energy, that gets them into the right state in terms of their cycling.
So. Yeah, and really it's only me speaking with you, like some Mark Knutsford, speaking to guys in Canada and that have done it before me really, and picking their brains and this is I think she's 2nd of June born. She's been flushed once already. Okay. She got done to sexed walnut lawn sidekick and made 11 grade A's.
Right.
And she's on programme again for a flush next Monday.
Right. Ideal.
See how we go, and then we'll put her in calf. We think this is quite marketable with.
With the pedigree like that.
How things have
Denver's doing great things, so we see at the minute.
Yeah.
It's got a very marketable pedigree. And it's a nice effort as well.
Yeah, this went up to the Short Carlisle in March. I think she was 5th in a class of maybe 12 or 13,
right.
and so yeah, it was
really happy.
Yeah.
And again, those little. Again, we keep coming back to it, but it's so important, the attention to detail, the little bit of cow care, sort of vitamins and minerals, just to get them into that right balance, the Cozy Cure bolus, those little things that just keep the heifer in that optimum condition, means that you get the likes of 11 grade A embryos.
Yeah, hopefully that, I think when the guys come to flush your heifer, you can't have any regrets. You can't be wishing at that point that you'd up the energy, or wishing you used 4 straws of semen instead of 3. You got to do it when it's there. Do it when it's there, and I think another good thing about this heifer and maybe the industry in general, like I've got mates with Brad Brenneman now at Brenneman Farms.
Right.
And it was only through me turning up there wanting to buy embryos from the family. And we had something in common, and we keep in touch and trade photographs, and probably a strong thing at industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from a marketing point of view as well, those guys appreciate the fact that you guys put in a lot of hard work, and they've got obviously their pedigree behind your animals, and it means as much to them as it does to you. It makes as much impact on their genetics when they're marketing stock as well. So I think they appreciate that kind
Come back in a week and we'll let you know whether they've been successful with flush.
Well, watch this space.
It's all right. So let's let this way.
So we'll go and look at some cows at another stage if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
We've got this girl here. She's in her dry period.
So this is Absolute Dorman A-ring-a-ding-ding. Mother of the King Dot calf we had a look at earlier on.
Oh, so this is the mother of the calf that we saw at the start of the video? Ideal.
So
this is the Alley family?
Yeah, and we're into a different sort of management here. This came out of the field about a week ago. She's about 3 weeks off calving, so we like to get her in. I think condition-wise she's just about right. We're a bit of condition to milk off. You want to get her on the hay and the dry cow rolls, get her ruminating, get her ticking ready for calving, and hopefully calves out and she'll be off and running, hopefully.
And when you graze some far off dry cows, and then bring them in here, and she'll calve in this pen, will she?
Yeah, we'll calve her in here. Hopefully everything goes according to plan.
So slightly different forage in this section, obviously. You're onto a bit of hay now?
Yeah, so we have some haylage for this cow, and anything we keep that's we do keep 1 or 2 and milk them through. So we have haylage with 2 or 3 varieties haylage, and we have hay, and we feed them accordingly with that. and I do like them on hair just to fill out and make rib and make body.
Yeah. And even, you know, not particularly this cow, but just even at this stage, it's probably important to point out that if you are thinking of a cow maybe coming up to a show, like the hard work of getting this cow into the ring probably starts at this stage as well.
Yeah, you know? yeah. And they always say dry cow period is vitally important.
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, in all honesty, the lactation probably starts the day you dry them off. That important period coming up to calving probably sets them up for the next lactation, doesn't it? And that's just in terms of general cow care, and not just for getting a cow ready for a show, but even to get a cow to a show, it is obviously important that they calve in the right condition. They don't lose too much weight. They don't put too much weight on.
I think she's just about right for us, really. And she'll get ticking second calf, milk a bit of a condition off, and then we'll probably set to and flush this cow again when she gets over peak yield in a second lactation.
And just out of interest, what's she carrying?
She's bred to King Dog again, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I think King Dog.
Nice cross.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for a heifer.
Right away nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say, she's got a nice bit of condition on without being too fat.
Yeah, pretty happy with her, really.
Okay. So, just while we're on this, Graham, obviously there's a couple of different stages of your cattle. Start on straw, they have straw up till probably flushing age and maybe a little longer. Go on to some hay or some haylage, depending on their stage. So it is really important to have a good variety of this good, well-made forage. It's funny, Graham actually was on the phone to me the other day, and he was in the middle of making hay, and he mentioned to me, it was quite funny really, it doesn't really matter what area of the world you're in, whether it's in Canada, in this country, in Switzerland, in Germany, wherever it is, anyone that's passionate about good cows, showing good cows and breeding good cows, they're passionate about making good hay.
They'll be passionate about hay.
It doesn't matter, even, you know, you go to the shows, you go here, there and everywhere, the quality of the hay is going to come up at some stage.
That sense of achievement you get when you know you've made absolutely sensational hay. It's in the barn. It's all. That's a great feeling. And we've haylage.
You know, it's had hours of sunshine on it.
Yeah, we've haylage with hay, 2 or 3 different cuts. And it's money in the bank, don't
Well, that's it. Yeah, and well, you can see from the stock that we've seen tonight, Graham. I mean, the forage obviously makes a difference to the condition that these animals are in. So great job.
So if you're passionate about cows, you're passionate about hay.
That's it. Yeah,
that is for sure.
And it's one of those things, like you say, it's money in the bank.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Well, Graham, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for showing us around. Thanks for telling us
a
few of your secrets. Absolute Genetics have got their own Facebook page, look them up on social media. Thank you for watching Perfection Collection TV again. Obviously follow us on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the bell so that you'll receive updates. We're constantly going out and speaking to people like Graham and other people in the industry to update you and keep you in the loop, and we really enjoy doing it. So thanks again for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.